Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the McLaren P1 GTR. This is coming up as a Golden Cup car and will eventually lead to an Evolution Cup, which includes winning the McLaren P1 GTR Pebble Beach Edition. However, before we start talking too much about this car with Stage 6 effects, what I'm going to do today is to show you the good and bad of this car and do a little bit of a discussion of using it other than for the cup itself, but rather for live racing. The problem with this car is that when it's fully maxed, as it is right now, and tuned to the best Evo possible, or the quote world record tune, which should give you a 7.657, with people that holds the world record being barely able to beat it with a 7.652. The problem is that for the average Joe, it's nearly impossible to even get Dyno, much less beat it. And the reason for that is when Natural Motion buffed this car, they made the shifts so fast that the average person's device and fingers simply can't keep up with it. I'm going to try to run this as best as I can. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See how fast the shifts are? Now, if you miss the first two, you've already lost the time. And then if you shift early in the later shift, you lose more time. So right there, I just got myself in some trouble with a 7.86 on a 7.6 dyno. And this is not the first time I've driven this car fully maxed. I've had some attempts at getting better at this, but I can tell you that it just doesn't want to happen. Let's take another shot at this, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Again, I can try to anticipate the shifts. I could try to just tap rapidly and go crazy. But the bottom line is, on most devices and for most players, it's going to be a really tough car to drive. And here I'm shifting all too late. They kept bouncing the needle, which means another 7.8 second run. Frustrating to say the least. Now, anticipating that the coming Evolution Cup will likely be only a few tenths off from the max time of the car. Let's say with a 7.7 second car, I've seen Evolution Cups being 7.9s or 8.0s. If you can't have the car maxed and you can't hit those crazy shifts, you may very well be struggling with the final races in Evolution Cup, and that is not a good feeling. But that being aside, is there something we can do with this car to make it shift slower and still be a winnable, usable car? Well, part of the reason a lot of people put this car into dust collector status is because they wanted it at max settings. And max setting, no, you can't. There's not much you can do. People have always recommended certain tuning tips to try to get the car to shift slower and still run its time. One of the most common being, look, just play with the transmission setting and don't worry about the rest. Now, we'll deal with that, but what I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you that with stage 5 only, the car is still viable in live. But here, let's do that 2.0 final drive trick first, right? So Dyno says 9.375. We throw the transmission to max evo first to see where it needs to be max evo. Let's take a look here. Now, at stage 5, to get 1800 evo out of it, which is great, that's a really high evo for stage 5 only, you're still looking at some crazy times in the 0 to 60 to 0 100. That means the shifts are super fast still for the first 4 gears, and for the average guy, that goes back to the same issue. The dyno says a nice number of 9.1, and you're not going to be able to easily do it. So we're going to run it with max evo first, okay, get a benchmark of how fast the shifts are. Better, but not great. And the shifts being not totally even makes it even harder for you to hit dyno, but it is slightly easier to drive simply on account of the fact that it's a little bit slower, but still slower than Dyno. Okay, now that's 9.15. We did 9.29. That's not going to get you very far in live, and that's obviously not a good way to go. What about some simple tuning to try to get a better run? Well, people have said one of the simple ways to tune is simply lose out on a little bit of Evo, but put the final drive to a lower number. That'll give you a slower time, but also a much slower shift. Doing that theoretically would allow you to get the car to run closer to dyno or possibly even beat dyno because now your shifts are not as quick. With this car, even putting tire grip down to slow everything down, putting it at 2.0 final drive, it doesn't automatically get you to beat dyno. And that's the issue here. You really need to tweak the parts to get a true dyno beating tune. And to do that, you would actually have to remove other parts. Now, without removing other parts, let's take a look at what we can do. So this is full stage 5. I've tweaked the final drive to 2.0, 9.577 theoretically, with slower shifts and launching it carefully, we should be able to get close to dyno, if not beat it, right? So let's try it and see what happens. Now, launching isn't the most difficult thing with this car. Here I jumped pretty much right to second gear and hit nitrous. I'm not sure if that was the best way to do it, but let's see the result and see where it puts us first. So here, 9.684 and a 9.577 dyno. We're closer to dyno, but not much closer than when it was running a full Evo setup. Yes, it is easier to drive, but no, it's not getting under dyno, and that means it is still not extremely viable in live racing or being competitive in general. So, what do I do now? What I'm going to do is to find the cliff drop in Evo that'll give me the dyno beating tune, and that means dropping additional power adders to get the grip versus power to balance out. Watch the jump here. That one stage of turbo just gave me 400 Evo, versus this jump is only about 100 something, 200. So this one with the large jump is likely to be a trigger for a dyno beating setup. So again, I dropped it again. Watch the drop. That's a lot. Is that enough to give it a few tenths difference in live? Most likely. Let's go check it out in the dyno and see what it shows us. So without playing with other things, you can upgrade the grip and look for that drop. So here's the drop. It's basically a 300 Evo drop, which gives us a 10.954 dyno. But without the Evo drop, you're looking at a dyno of 10.423. That is a 5/10 difference. However, generally speaking, you may not actually get the full 5/10 when you're driving, but you should easily get at least 3/10 or 2/10 under dyno once you have this variance. I'm going to test this real quick, see what it does. Now, launching this, you have to be somewhat careful. Ooh, that was bad. I bounced a needle there, but all right, let's see what it runs. What you need to do is make sure that you don't do a perfect launch because you'll probably get a 0 RPM drop, but anything slightly off from perfect, it should still be fine. You're sacrificing a little bit of perfection here to get a dyno beating run. That was a 2/10 under, even though I screwed up the run, and I'm sure I could do better with a more carefully shifted run. So right there, now you know you just went from 1/10 over to 2/10 under. Now we should be much more competitive if this car is brought to live. Again, I'm not really waiting for first gear to get through. Whether that's going to be the best way to drive it, I don't know. Right now, I'm just looking to get under the dyno by a decent amount. Here we go, 10.6. All right, so 10.6 on 10.9 is a pretty viable position to be in. Now it's time to really test whether this tune works and is recognized by the computer. So we're going to go out to live racing and put this tune to the test. 10.9 lobby is really like the 11-second lobby. So you have opponents that are either going to run 10.9 to 10.6s or opponents that will run 11.2 to 10.9s. So it really depends on who you run into and which lobby the computer puts you in. I've raced this car with this kind of a tweaked tune for some time now, although it's only got about 200 miles on it, not even. Um, there's a possibility it was already bumped a little bit, but we'll find out in a second where this car is. Okay, so I'm just driving in normal. The shifts are not hard, and I'm pretty much well ahead of the guy. I could try to slow down. Oops, too much. But let's see what the other guy ran. 10.967. So he's running almost exactly on what I originally dynoed with the P1 GTR. That's good. So if, assuming that this guy is representative of his lobby, I now know that majority of the people in this lobby I can take on without a problem. So let's see if I can find somebody to race here. Looks like everybody's busy. There's a swapper guy here. I don't know if he'll race me. He's got, oh, that's an F40. Let me see if anybody else is available. Nope. Let's give him a try. See if he'll take the challenge. F40s generally dominate tier 4 lobbies if they're tuned properly, or even when they're not tuned properly, they're just that good. But let's see if he'll take the challenge. I don't think so. He could have easily accepted by now. Maybe he's not available to see my challenge. I'm going to let it go. Okay. We have other people that are starting to come out of lobby. Let me jump out, see if maybe I can get a different lobby or see what happens here. Let's go back in again. Okay. Same lobby, different lobby. Okay, same lobby, same people. So I guess I'm stuck. I'm going to have to just find somebody to race. Here we go. Grayman. I'm going to hit him. Oh, looks like he challenged me before I had a chance to challenge him. Ford GT. Now, the GT is another car that can be tuned pretty easily to beat Dyno by a bit. Also, not a huge margin, but a reliable margin. So let's see what happens here. He very well could run either right on the lobby or better. Now, it looks like I'm leaving it in fourth. I'm actually going to slow down a little here just to see if he's going to be running under 11 or not. No, he actually ran over 11. Probably has a max evo tune. So I just did a 10.818 without even shifting into fifth there. That's a relatively safe speed if you're in the 10.9 lobby. I mean, if I'm right now, I'm probably in the 11.1 lobby. So if I run too many 10.8s, I'll probably get bumped. But that means still that I am in a very competitive position right now with this car, which is a good place to be. Now, let's go back and see if we can get a little bit different setup and still be able to duplicate this effect. As you upgrade the car, obviously things will slowly change, right? Right now, we don't have stage 6s installed, but what happens is as you install stage 6s, you'll watch the Evo change, and the Evo could potentially jump up because of the part changes, which would then again lead to a different change where you need to start tweaking the setting once more. So throwing in some of the stage 6s, I'm just watching the Evo changes. Okay, I'm still leaving some off. I'm leaving turbo kind of where it is right now, intake. Let's go check the dyno, see if there is a gap in Evo that we can still trigger. Now I had it pretty low on final drive. So if I bump it up and there's a jump, then we're still maintaining the change. Now there is here 9.151, 9. 418. So this is not as big a margin as before. Okay, still computer showing 3/10 margin, but knowing before that we're only able to get a little bit faster in the sense that when it was 10.9, you can get 10.5, but or 10.6, so you're getting 3/10 out of a 5/10 drop. Here, we're probably going to get like a 2/10 out of a 3/10 drop. So you're not going to get the full drop when you drive it, but you can still get a drop in time. So you're still beating Dyno, you're just not going to have the huge margin. That looks like it's probably going to come out of 9.3 something. Oh, 9.290, not bad. Okay, so 9.4 to 9.2. Now that's a 9.42 to a 9.29, which is almost a 9.3. So you're really only dropping about a tenth here. Is this going to be viable with this change? Only way to tell is taking it back out to live and trying it. So now we're going to be in a faster lobby with more competitive opponents. The question is it still viable? Well, let's try it. I'm not going to race a car that's super tough that obviously beats Dyno, something like the Audi there. But I will try this car here, which is a Ferrari FXXK Evo. This one doesn't easily beat Dyno. It's not a bad car, it just doesn't easily beat Dyno. So let's see how well this car runs against me, because this may give me a better feel for where this lobby's at. 9.42 could put me in a 9.6 lobby or a 9.3 lobby. So let's see where we're at. All right, I have quite a lead on him. I'm waiting for him to start catching up. If he doesn't, I'll slow down a little. So I would only barely be beating Dyno, so I don't even need to beat Dyno to actually beat this particular racer in live. That means I'm actually lobbied well. So not only am I able to beat Dyno slightly to get myself that edge, it seems that 9.4 puts me in a pretty competitive lobby at the moment. That's great. He's running swap symbols. Let's see if he does a much faster time this time. He was maybe just holding back a little on the first run. I'm going to let him win this, but I'm not going to swap with him. I'm going to move on after this. But let's see where he's at. He's not catching up. I'm going to slow down. Oh, here he comes. Here we go. Let's see what he ran. 9.617. So definitely he's in the 9.6 range. So that could mean this lobby's cars on average run between 9.4 to 9.6. That puts me in a very good position. That means even the ones that are more competitive in this lobby could still be only running a 9.4. So 9.3 will definitely give me an edge when it comes to being able to race other people. Now, guys like this, which has natural dyno beating cars, might be tough, might be a real challenge. But most of the other cars that are not full dyno crushers, it should be a straight up and fair race. Okay, 30-30. Let's see what tune he's running. If he's running Max Evo tune, once again, I should have a pretty strong and easy uh, win possibility here. Let's take a look. Come on. Come on. Don't disconnect. Let's go. Oh, there it is. Good. I don't think he disconnected. If it was any longer, I would have suspected that he totally disconnected. Okay, so he's running. I'm running. Margin here is pretty good. I'm going to, again, slow down. Keep it a little bit closer. It looks like I didn't even need to beat Dyno again to beat that car. 9.45, 9.505. So definitely in a competitive lobby for the Dyno. And also, I still have the margin to play with. So this is very good. This is an easy win. Basically, in this lobby, this car is pretty dominant. And that's good considering I am now running a higher level of Evo than the 11-second 11.9 tune, which means more RP. And every little bit of faster also means you get through each race a little bit faster. So that's always helpful as well. Right. La Ferrari. And it's not, and it's a Lamborghini. Okay, so LaFerrari is driving a Lamborghini. Okay, this Lamborghini has a high acceleration near the end, so this is one of those top-end cars. What I'm going to need to do is watch how quick they start pulling on me near the end. Yeah, you get a nice lead now, but as I slow down, I'm going to watch him start shooting up. You see how he's catching? All right, I didn't slow down much there, but there was actually a decent margin when I won that one. Should have slowed down maybe a little bit. 9.5 against 9.3 again. So against the Lamborghini there, it's still competitive and not a difficult win. So that tells you that this dyno beating setup is working. Okay. Um, can you get more margin or less margin by tweaking the part setups? Probably, but you're not going to get much more than this kind of a margin out of the car unless you're going slower. The faster you go or the more upgraded you go, the less of a margin this car is going to have. It's going to start go towards having basically no margin from having a decent margin. So what is my opinion of this car? Well, I just showed you this car does not have to be a dust collector. It's a beautiful car, and therefore I want to use it, and I'm going to try to find ways to use it. Knowing that I can tweak the tune the way I did makes it so that it's now a viable car in live, and therefore something that I'm not going to just leave collecting dust in the garage all the time. Is the Evo Cup and Golden Cup going to be easy? With the full Evo setup, probably not. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle. When I do the Stage 6 effects video, we'll see how which Stage 6 really triggers that crazy shift. But we can see that even at full Stage 5, it's difficult. So, in conclusion, this is a nice car to have. If you're going to pull for it, go for it. If you already got it and you want to build it, not a bad car at all. Is it a dominating car? No, it's a competitive car. It's not dominating. It's not a lobby controlling type car, but it's definitely a good car and is worthwhile to put some investment into. Plus, fusions are not that difficult to get since it's a McLaren and you can buy this 570S and strip for fusions. Stage 6s, however, will be difficult. That's where the Golden Cup comes in. You'll have crates and you can get card parts, stage 6 parts through those crates. So save up bronze keys now before the event starts, and then when it does come along, you can get the car built up. That concludes my discussion of the McLaren P1 GTR. Let me know what you think. Do you like this car? Do you love this car? Or do you hate it because of the shifts? Feel free to make comments and let me know what you think. Again, this is not the stage 6 video. That will come separately and I will make that video. This is more a review and a live racing tune video for this car. Thank you for watching my video. I hope you liked it. Please leave a like if you liked the video and also subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications when I put up new videos. Again, thank you for watching and I'll catch you next time.